This episode of the production channel is sponsored by CLEMCO. Visit clemco.net for all of your freelance, independent contractor, entrepreneur, and small business needs.
My boy Lesroy Louard, that's what I'm talking about.
What's up?
Hey man, so you go by many titles. You go by many titles, but I just like video editor extraordinaire.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Makes me sound official. It makes me sound real official.
I mean, you got Louard Media. You are official. You are official. You've done work with Turner Sports, like NBA TV, NBA Network, Mercedes-Benz, Google. The list goes on and on. So, how did you get started? How did you get here?
Man, first of all, I appreciate you for having me and selecting me out of the many professionals that I feel honored to be on the podcast or the video cast now.
Right, the production
channel, video blog.
And you produced the open. You produced it and created the open for this show.
Yeah, man. I would say it started way back. High school. I took a television production class as an elective, and that was that moment. Like, as a kid, you kind of aren't really sure what you want to do for your career. But it was clear as day. It was just like, boom. I knew I took that television production class. I was doing the morning announcements. I was editing tape to tape, the old school way. I figured out all to do that. And I thanks to Miss Berg, the late great Miss Berg. She was a television production teacher, and man, she just like saw something in me. So she gave me like the extra work, gave me the extra knowledge, and I just knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to work in television. I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, whatever facet. I knew I wanted to put like television together and make it happen. From there, I just like honed my skills. Like in college, I went to Florida State, and I met you out there my freshman year. And ever since I landed on the campus, man, I was always just trying to figure out how can I get into the film program? How can I get into the television program? Like how I was asking everybody, because typically like you don't really get accepted into the film program. I don't know if you remember until like your junior year.
Yeah.
Like, and so I was like, nah, that's not gonna work for me. I'm gonna figure out a way to work around. So I met all the people that were in the film program, that were in the television program, that were doing the sports stuff, and I ended up working for the Seminole basketball team, mostly the women's side and a little bit on the men's. And wow. I ended up doing stuff, editing and show work and stuff behind the scenes, writing and doing features and stuff for the productions and for the teams my sophomore year. And by the end of my sophomore year, probably by the middle of my sophomore year, I was the full-time videographer for the women's basketball team. So I would basically travel with them, record all of their games, all their practices, any special moments. I would put together highlight videos and highlight packages. I would do motivational videos for them before the games.
So you were, because I applied for the Florida State Film School and I didn't get in. And then so the College of Communication was my route, and trying to get in through the media production department as well. And so, I couldn't get in until like junior year. But knowing that, you were like, no, I'm determined to start now.
Yep.
So exactly how did you get your way into the athletic department? Because like you didn't give up, and you were like, no, I'm going to find my workaround. I'm going to find my way into the system. Oh, yeah. So how did you get into the athletic department from a video standpoint?
Bro, you don't even remember. Like, so I started freshman year, like the first like week I was on campus, I was there through the care program.
Yep.
And you were a mentor there, and I started getting to know you or whatever, and you became like, low key like a mentor, but not like really, like I didn't like seek you out as a mentor. It just kind of naturally happened. Like I asked you what you did and how you like Florida State and what you did and all this stuff. and you told me about your work at Seminole Productions. Like you did camera for the football games and everything. So you introduced me to Mark Roden and all the staff there in the ninth floor of the stadium. And so from there, like I just built those relationships and asked like, hey, if you ever need any help on this, I'm gonna help with that. And I don't know if you remember, but like a couple of football games, I was like your camera assist. Like I was pulling the cords for you or just watching you, and you let me like record a couple games. And I don't know if you remember one game we were actually on the field. I think it was the Miami game. Wow. And I was like pulling your cords. I was like your cable guy. And it was raining. And I remember being on the field for the biggest game as a freshman. And I was just like, yo, this is crazy. Like obviously I've since like realized like I don't like camera work, like in the sense of I don't like holding the heavy equipment and like lugging through the mud and sloshing, because that's a physically demanding job. But that was like my entry into like the Seminole production and meeting all the staff and showing them what I can do and that I'm willing and eager to help. And Mark Roden offered me a position my sophomore year for the women's basketball team videographer. So that's kind of how you opened my eyes to the world and got me introduced. And then it just snowballed from there.
Yeah, man, it's crazy how someone, you're right. I didn't even remember all that. I didn't, man. But it's crazy how one little moment, as you say, a snowball, right? It just continues to go and continues to grow. And I didn't even realize you were traveling with the women's basketball team. I traveled with the baseball team at Florida State. So it's like I do remember like that experience. So now even thinking about it from your perspective, it's like, yeah, man, that was a great time. That was a great time.
It was amazing. So it was like everybody, I feel like a lot of people in college, like they have fun, they party and crazy and do all the stuff, experiences like that. I wish that I would have had more of those like fun, crazy experiences. But at the same time, like it propelled my career and got my juices flowing for my career and what I'm doing now. So I can't regret it. I do wish that maybe instead of like graduating in 3.5 years, I would have maybe took some extra time and graduated in 5. You know what I mean? Like maybe took an extra course,
extra year and a half, huh?
Get another degree or something, just to say I did it or whatever. But that college time was so strong and so fun and I'm a very determined, goal-driven person. So if I see the goal down the street, like I'm trying to figure out how to get down the street the quickest way, most efficient way possible. So that was for me, that was graduation. I was trying to like learn as much as I could, take as many classes as I could. And I ended up taking classes over the summer, like 12 credits during the summer, extra stuff, like 18 credits during the year, during the fall semesters and stuff. So all that accumulated and I ended up having way more credits than I needed. And I already came in with some credits because I went to a high school that afforded me AP credits and whatnot. So like all that ended up, I was able to graduate in 3 years, and I was just like, well, yeah, I might as well just get my career started. Yeah. Not thinking like, this is probably your best time of your life. Just take your time, just chill, take some BS classes and just like do some solo projects or something. Right. Go travel around the world. That's the part I wish I would have did, but I'm not mad at, the path that I took.
I've been talking to a lot of college students, a lot of universities, doing some of the coaching, the mentoring and coaching that I've been doing for these soon to graduate college students. And a lot of them have been trying to figure out their next steps. And as I continue to give them, some guidance and some tools to prepare, what were some of the tools or the steps that you took in preparation for graduating and trying to find that job upon graduation?
The steps that I took, they weren't like intentional, right? I think they weren't intentional, but they were innate, right? If that makes sense. Like I didn't go out saying, okay, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this, I need to do that in order to get this career, right? I just knew that I wanted to work in television. And so I did whatever was in front of me. I just did as many of those things I could to learn as much as I could. And then hopefully I was able to step into the world and make it. A lot of people's parents nowadays, and more so back then, I guess, but they were able to give them the blueprint of like, okay, so you need to go do this, you need to get this. Like there was no checklist for me. There was no real like guidance or leadership in the sense of like career wise, this is what you need to do to navigate and get here and here and here. Like I figured it out all on my own and just kind of tried it and bumped into where I was. And then I knew like what I wanted to do. So I said, okay, I'm gonna try to do this. I'm gonna get this experience. I'm gonna learn how to do camera. I'm gonna learn how to edit. I'm gonna learn how to write. I'm gonna learn how to. I actually did the Coach Sue Seminow show and the Bobby Bowden show. So I was like a on-camera talent with both of those coaches for like a while, for like a year or two. So it was just like I was just doing everything to build my television production experience, so that when I did apply for a job, they couldn't be like, "Well, did you have experience?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I did this, and this." Like, tell me I can't. If I had to give advice to anyone, I would say it's figure out what you want to do and be sure of it. And even if you're not sure of it, attack that plan. Do all the things to get the experience in those areas or in that lane. And that way, once you're done, you can't be denied because you have the experience, you have the knowledge because you went to college, and then just attack it.
Okay. So what was your first job right out of college?
So back up, I had a job in college where I worked.
You said back up.
Back up. Yeah. I had an actual job in college. So I got paid for one. So I had several jobs in college. I got paid for being the Seminole production videographer for the women's basketball team. I also did reporting for Sunshine Network, because they had a relationship with our Seminole production. Yep. So they had like reporters go do features for all the sports teams. Obviously, our sports was on 100 level. Mm-hmm. We had tennis, we had baseball, we had football, basketball, all that. So I covered sports for those different things as a reporter. That was like my, I guess, start into professional getting paid. And I would see those paychecks and I'd be like, yes, as a college student, it's like, what? So that was my first job. And then first job out of college was, which is crazy because when you go to college, your whole mindset is thinking like, oh shoot, I'm going to college. Like as soon as I get out, I'm about to get paid, right? Like I'm about to get this job. I got this experience. Yeah. Like they can't give me no pennies, bruh. I ended up getting pennies. I was so mad. I was so mad. But I was in a position where I like really needed a job because my wife at the time was wanting to come to Atlanta, and so she graduated. She was a year ahead of me, so she came to Atlanta, was already kind of like moved in, ready to go, and I was like finishing my last semester, about to graduate. So I was like, okay, Atlanta is where it's at. It's a good entertainment city. Down to go to Atlanta, cool. So came to Atlanta, and I didn't have a job. Like it was just like I was looking, and obviously we got bills, we got a lifestyle that we want to have and everything. So you start looking. So like a month turned into like 2 months, and you just like, okay, well shoot, the rent is due in like, another month. Like it's gonna start piling up. And I think at the time we were paying like almost $1,000 for a month or per month. And so, that obviously with utilities and stuff, you're like, as a college student, and you're like, oh, we gotta have to do something because the apartment not gonna pay itself. So yeah, man, I was looking for jobs for a good like month and a half, and I didn't find anything that I liked. I almost contemplated taking a sales job where you like knock on door to door to like sell people like random things or whatever. And I was just like, this is not for me. But if I had to do it, I had to do it. And then one day I just, in looking, checked out Monster again, monsterjobs.com back in the day.
Nice.
I reached out to this one company called Career Sports and Entertainment. It was a sports marketing agency that they also rep talent, athletes and broadcasters and whatnot. But then they also had a corporate side where they represented Kellogg's and AT&T at the time and all the stuff like that. So I applied, as an editor, and they called me for an interview, and boom, I got the job. I'm a really good interview. I do really well in interviews. So I got the job. It wasn't even no hesitation. Like I knew as soon as I got a call back, I was like, boom, that's my job right there. So funny enough is that job, they had like I said, they had a corporate side and they had a marketing side, but they had just started an entertainment division, and they had a daily entertainment show, kind of similar to Atlanta Entertainment Tonight, but it was called Atlanta Tonight. And it was all about the entertainment and sports scene here in Atlanta. So we covered everything from chefs to music to celebrities coming in town for whatever, movies, music, obviously, sports, all that stuff. Everything. Like, I met some crazy people, and that was my first job. I was mainly an editor, but because I had skills like shooting and writing, like I like went out with the crew and like shot some stuff that's like second camera, or sometimes it's first camera, and then I would come back and edit, pieces. Like, it was a daily show, 7 days a week on UPN.
Wow.
Yep.
So one of the things that I mentioned in my book, Career Projection 101, is how you have to do what you have to do to get where you want to go.
Yep.
And so you were already, from what you're saying, you were doing what you wanted to do, which is work in television production, right?
Yep.
So you had all of this experience in these different sectors of creating a production, or these different departments of creating a production. But what was it that you truly wanted to do as you were doing those 3 years of working in that show? Did you decide or figure out what skill, what talent you possess, and how to hone that?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, no, I didn't know. Like, I knew I wanted to work in television. So whatever opportunity that presented itself while I was doing that was fine with me. So I was a jack of all trades. Like I said, I was editing first. I was an editor first. And I can't say that I was that good. Like, I was still kind of like learning. Like, I was green as an editor, figuring out how to do this and how to do X, Y, Z. And I would ask a lot of questions to like people that had more experience than me. I just knew I wanted to create. That was my focus. Like, I wanted to create, whether it be like a cool shot for the interview, like being the best camera person, being the best, writing producer to figure out the questions to ask for the interview. And then at the end, like putting the editing together. I knew I realized my strong suit and my niche was editing, or my stronger suit was editing and using music in my edit pieces. Like, the way that I use music was different than the rest of the editors, was a different style than the other two editors that were there. And everyone would always be like, oh, Lesroy edited that one because like the way that he used the music and like the beats that he chopped up and how he,
yes,
kind of made it flow with the music. So I knew very early on that like music was my like draw. And
yeah.
I would use music more so as the vehicle to like take me to a higher level.
So the music was the heartbeat of your editing.
For sure. Yeah.
Nice.
It definitely kind of gave me that centralized focus. Like, even though I wasn't super good, I got better because of my ability to use music. And I love music, so it's obviously, it's natural. It kind of like makes sense that was the way of me getting better.